Hi everyone, my name is Emily and I'm the Young Adult Librarian at the Rock Island Public Library, and today I want to tell you about a book that is great to read now for Pride Month, but also anytime, and that is The Magic Fish. And in this book you will meet a kid whose name is Tien. In growing up in America, he's had a very different life than his parents. And for his mom in particular, she's very conscious of the fact that she and her son, they're from different countries. And so the main way they sort of connect is with fairy tales. And you see at the start of the book, the first one they get into is a kind of Cinderella story. And this is one where, this beautiful young woman, she is promised by her father to the old man from the sea. And, well, this isn't very fair for her, because what happened was her father drove away the girl's mother, and this is how the old man has decided, well, I'm here to claim your daughter as my bride. And luckily, the daughter has her aunt, and her aunt says, well, okay, this is a marriage contract, so, my niece is gonna need something to wear to this wedding. And so, she says what she wants, these 3 beautiful dresses. And in succeeding in this, the old man from the sea, he delivers on his promise, but luckily her aunt is there. And Alara is her name. She is able to take these 3 dresses, put them into a walnut shell, and then her aunt tells her, also take this, take my ring. This is a ring that sings. And this is something, will connect them even after they're apart. And, in the book you see Tien's mom is sort of remembering her journey to the United States, leaving her mom, leaving Vietnam, leaving her mom and aunt behind. And in this, she was able to build a new family, she and her husband, Tien's father, they have him, and, they're sort of building a new life. But this was, years ago. And what happens, you get the fairy tale in the story, and for Tien and his mom, they both love sharing stories. They take turns reading to each other, and for Tien's mom, Hien, she will call home, she'll call back to Vietnam. She knows her mom is a little bit ill, and she worries because she's spent 8 years becoming a citizen, and she's thinking, okay, we're saving up money for plane tickets, we want to go back to Vietnam and visit as a family. But in talking with her aunt and talking with her mom, she's worried, she's thinking okay, well, we can send more money for medication, yes, we'll still have money for plane tickets, don't worry. Now, as this is happening, Tien is wondering how to tell his parents that he's gay. There's a part in the book I bookmarked because, he tells his friends at school, Tien is very close with Julian and Claire. They've been friends since elementary school. I think they're in junior high at this point. And Tien talks about the fact that, he tries to look up at the library how to say, Mom, Dad, I'm gay. He wants to be able to explain this. But, he and the librarian, it's like, okay, neither of us is quite sure the right way to say this in Vietnamese. And, Tien talks about the fact that it felt weird coming out to the librarian before my parents, but I didn't know what else to do or how to ask, how to communicate this. And so basically this is a story about communication. I mean, it's a story about stories and sharing them with the people you love, but it's also about the way that stories change. Ultimately in the book, what happens is, you get, there's a couple stories, Cinderella is kind of one, although in the first fairy tale, I mean, it's not a young woman who is overworked by a cruel stepmother. Instead, there's the father, and he's promised his daughter in marriage to the old man in the sea, but ultimately this doesn't happen. She's able to find her prince, and is able to with the help of her aunt, who is sort of like her mother, this powerful spirit from the sea, she's able to say, no, I'm not marrying you. I'm going to marry the person I want to marry. And in the second story, which is, there's an evil stepmother, there's also just a lot of different things that happen where you know, there's different elements to the story that, for example, Tian's mom, she doesn't remember. Like, her aunt is telling her a story at one point in the book when Tian and his mom are separated, and because she's had to go back to Vietnam. And in hearing this story, you know, Tian's mom is thinking, all right, I don't remember it this way. And she tells her aunt, I don't remember. You know, I'm changing every day. My Vietnamese is sort of weakening as, you know, I'm trying to get better at English. You know, I've been struggling with that, but now I'm struggling to remember stories that I grew up with. And, you know, her aunt's the one who tells her that, well, I mean, this is how the story ends, you know, gets this a very dark tale of the stepmother. Ultimately, you know, her daughter is told by these birds that have been revealing something that happened earlier in the book. And the stepmother eats this delicious meal that has been left for her. And it's not what she thought it was. And it's, you know, it's very dark. At one point, the girl in the story, the Cinderella figure, she, I think, is Tam. And, you know, she is, by the stepmother, her stepmother finds out that she has this friend who is a talking fish. So of course the stepmother cooks the fish and feeds it to Tam. And it's just, you know, in hearing this, Tian's like, wow, Auntie, that's dark. And it's like, well, it gets darker before the end of the story. And you know, they get to the end of the tale and she's like, is that really the ending? You know, is that how it ends? And her aunt says, how should I know? It's an old, old story. Details change. Things change. And now the story is yours. Yours and mine. So in this, you see as a reader, what's more important than how the story is supposed to be or what it originally was. I mean, what's more important are the people telling the story to each other, or, you know, who the story is for. So ultimately what does happen is Tian's mom has to go to this meeting at school, and part of this is because, you know, Tian went to this school dance with his friends Claire and Julian, and he and Julian danced. And, you know, Tian even asked, like, Julian, are you gay? And Julian's like, no, I don't think so. But, you know, remember in, like, the 3rd grade when you said you wanted to marry this boy in our class? Like, I figured it out, but, you know, we're best friends. Like, yeah, we can dance together. This is fine. But they go to a religious school. They go to a Christian school. So he ends up, Tian, having to do, like, faith counseling. And so, you know, his mom, after this meeting at the school, they go home and they read some more. And, you know, as they're reading, Tian's like, wait a minute, that's not how the story goes. And his mom's like, no, don't interrupt. Because it's the story of the Little Mermaid. Except in this version, the Little Mermaid, she wins the heart of a human, but it's not the prince. It's this girl who she's been dancing with. And, you know, this is just this beautiful moment for Tian realizing, oh, even though I wasn't the one who told her, unfortunately, like, this is upsetting for him that, you know, people, like, adults at school were the ones who revealed it to his mom and tried to, like, make it into a negative thing. Instead, you know, she says, I don't know how to talk about this stuff, but I love everything you are, and I don't want to miss out on you growing up, okay? And he's just like, okay. So it's just a really beautiful story about family and telling each other the stories we need, because stories do change, and the people in our lives, maybe they don't always need exactly a fairy tale as it is written, but instead something that affirms their life experience and, you know, recognizes that I love this person as they are, and I wouldn't want them to change anything. You know, I don't expect this person to be anything other than who they really are. So if you like graphic novels, the art here is really, really beautiful. And I like how, as the book goes on, you see there's different colors. So like blue, this is the color of fairy tales, and then red, you get sort of, this is the present day. And this is both in the United States and in Vietnam. And in yellow, you don't have as much yellow, but yellow, these, that's the color of flashbacks here. So this is like Tian's parents when they first got together and they're younger. And it's just a really beautiful book about understanding who you are, but also finding ways to connect with the people you love and finding that, you know, they understand who you are. They love you for who you are. And that's really a wonderful thing. And this book is available as a physical book. You can check it out at the library. It's also available through our Libby app though. So if you have that app, you just need a library card number to check out books through there, and you can read it on whatever mobile device or tablet you would like to check it out on. And thank you for watching. I will see you again soon.